one of the Kirby project where we are going to be focusing on the main body. Before we do that, I want to show you a couple things. You have the original image sitting here so that you can see where everything is supposed to be placed. You also have the extracted colors, and these two are with this image as well. The image of Kirby has been enlarged, and I lowered the opacity so that you can trace on top of it. This is all in a locked layer, and the colors are separated in their own layer as well. The other layers are organized in the order that they need to be placed onto the artboard, and you'll also know that you have some guidelines. One is for the center of Kirby, and these two are going to help us determine the anchor points that we need to delete later to give this gap. The first thing you're going to start with is your ellipse tool, and your ellipse tool will probably end up starting with a black outline, so I'm going to do that as well. We're going to hold the Option and Shift key and drag outward. Okay, I actually don't want a stroke on this one, so I'm going to use my eyedropper. So I for eyedropper, and I'm going to grab that dark pink and I'm going to flop the stroke for the fill. Now I want to make a circle that's exactly the same size. I also need to be able to see through this for a second. So after you have added the fill, you can come over to your properties panel and just for a moment go ahead and lower the opacity on that circle so that I know where the second circle is going to go. I'm going to click on the circle. I'm going to do Command C, Command F. Command F is putting my copy on the front. I'm going to hold my Shift key and I'm going to guide this up until it rests right along the edge. This is going to be the color of the light pink. So I'm going to use I for eyedropper, and I'm going to click. I'm going to set the fill. And at this moment, I don't really need to worry about the opacity on this one, so I'm just going to select these two circles. And last year you practiced the Shape Builder tool, so you should be able to come over here and grab the Shape Builder tool. Remember, the Option key is your negative, and we want to cut away. The last circle that we're going to be creating is actually the same as the pink one. I want to keep it the same, so I'm going to try to line it up exactly on the edge of where the original pink one was. I'm going to come out from the center, do Option, Shift. I'm going to go outside just a little bit. And then this time I'm going to increase my stroke size, turn off my fill, make it black. And the stroke should be at 11 because there's a pretty good thickness to the outside. All right, now we also need to be able to see this edge right here. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to turn the opacity down on my light pink one. So you should be able to see through to the middle. If you can zoom in really quick and look at this Kirby, you'll notice that it's got a little bit of a hangover on the top and as well as the bottom. So we are going to go ahead and just simply delete the anchors that are placed inside here. But the problem is we only have 4 anchors on our circle, and we need to add more. So I can't really delete anything exactly yet. What I want to do is I want to add anchor points, these little dots, to my circle. When you want to add an anchor point, you use your Add Anchor Point tool, but I've noticed with the new Illustrator that some of the tools aren't actually on your toolbar. So when you go ahead and click on your pen curvature tool, you're not going to see this. How to add it, you go down to the 3 dots and you should see the selection of pen tools that you can add to your toolbar. You're going to pick up this pen plus and carry it over and place it on top of that folder. When you are done, you are going to hit the 3 circles and you will have access now to that Add Anchor Point. Because I want to delete this anchor point, I need to create some stopped areas for my anchors. So I'm going to take my plus anchor point or add anchor point tool and click on that line right there. Click on the other line. If you get this message, just kind of guide it a little bit upward so you're not clicking out of the path. And now I'm going to use my direct selection tool, and I'm going to come in here to the center and click once on the center anchor and click delete. We'll worry in a second about the shape of this anchor point. Right now it looks very square. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to grab my add anchor point and I'm going to add an anchor point here, add an anchor point here, and come in with my direct selection tool and click right on the center, delete. All right, so we're getting close. We're almost done. The problem is that if you look at the original Kirby, the tip of this is kind of pointed and rounded. This is too square. So we need to directly deal with this anchor point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my direct selection tool. I'm going to click right on the anchor point that I want to deal with and come over here and click on the word stroke. I'm going to cap it off and make it rounded, and I'm also going to choose uniform, and I'm going to choose the width profile of 6. What this is going to do is it's going to shape my stroke. So it's going to give more of a painterly or ink stroke effect. Same thing here. You're going to click on this anchor point. You're going to go to stroke, you're going to cap off a rounded edge or tip, and then we're going to choose that last setting, width profile 6, and we're almost done. You can tell when you do that, it does affect the placement of your stroke. So what I would do is I would use my black arrow, click on the line that I want to move, and then with my arrow key on the keyboard, I'm going to drag it down. For this one, I'm going to drag it up. And I'm going to slightly move it in so that it's tucked right along the edge of my circle. So there is some adjustment that you need to do. Okay. Remember, when we're done, you should be able to turn off the original and see this one. And I'm glad I did this because what I'm seeing right now is this circle, this pink circle, is the wrong color. So I need to, oh, it's the wrong color because the opacity. So let's go over here and actually turn the opacities back on just so we can make sure we've got it right. All right. Okay. That's perfect. That looks great. So we're going to be ready for part 2, which is another video where I'm going to go over how to make the arms and the feet.